inventory level. So
Okay.
if the minimum inventory level is that I should not go below this much on my hop, smart, or whatever inventory is your critical inventory, the system can send you an alert.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you call hop something and they call, okay, these are organic hops or these are non-organic. And so you might call different things. So you might also say vendor catalog by each vendor so that while ordering you can give them their catalog so that there's no mistake when they're shipping you the material. They're shipping you the exact material that you want.
Right.
And then for each of them, even on the customer side, if it's a distribution company, like in this case, it's a Columbia distributing company. So you can set up all their details, what are their payment terms, where are they based out of, and so and so. And this is your customer list. So if all your distributors out here, you can just send all the details. If you're launching a new beer, ahead of time you can start making them aware that you're launching a new beer this coming December or whatever month you want to launch it. Any questions so far?
No, it seems pretty straightforward.
Okay. Then comes the sales module. In the customer module, you also have something called credit blocks, and if they have some credit limits that you want to set that they are a little late payers and you want an alert when they have so much of credit. So 15,000 is the maximum credit I'm going to extend to this customer. Then you can set their credit limits. And as soon as you enter a sales order, and if they have not paid their previous invoices, this order might go on hold. The system automatically takes care of that, unless if you don't want to do that, you just want to take the risk, or just you want it as a warning message, but you don't want to put a hard stop on the customer. So that's also possible in the system. Now, let me ask you, I saw your website, you have a North Carolina facility and you have something in the Vegas area on the West Coast?
Chico. Chico is in California.
Okay. So if you see the warehouses here, the warehouse is Texas, but then we'll configure the system to say it California, Chico's, and then the system you can trace your orders, that what happened to my California order, what happened to my Carolina order, and so on. So the system has like good capturing over that. It can capture all the data that you want to run your business analytics on to take future decisions. So the system is capable of all that. And if you have discounts, if you have special pricing strategy, if you have different pricing for different distributors, that's also possible. And in the sales order, there's some of the customers who are evaluating that the distributors can place orders online, or if they directly want to go B2C, where they take have certain customers whose age is evaluated, and like you have some. So there are like some customers thinking on advanced lines. I won't name them, but if you want to go into B2C market selling directly over the internet, or if your distributor wants to place an order for themselves over the internet, you can see that the source tells you that the order came through internet, phone, fax, email, what's the method of your order. So you can run your analytics at the end of the day and see, okay, 40% of my orders come over the phone, 30% come by email, and so on. So as many fields you want to make a smart system to make decisions that what areas to focus, what areas not to focus, what beer to continue, what beer not to continue, what's the customer preference. So you can run your business intelligence all out of this system. So this is a very involved system, what you're seeing right now. Then the system, when you're creating a sales order, you click on check inventory, and it will give you exactly how much stock you're carrying in your warehouse. Can you supply the customer on so-and-so date that he has requested? This can also take into consideration your forecast. You're forecasting something, or if you're creating production orders in the system, considering like proactively planning for an upcoming demand that you might see in the month of October. So you can also promise them against certain sales, the ordered quantity. So here, what you're seeing on your screen, it shows you what is the quantity which has been ordered. So this is the Oktoberfest beer, which is like upcoming, like in the current season of October. There's a huge spike in demand. You already have committed 6,500 gallons in this case, and then your stock was 7,000, so you just have available is 500 gallons. You want to produce more, or if you are expecting more orders and against your forecast, you may create a production order for that. Now, all this is also linked with the delivery. You create delivery, which is a shipping line or the freight forwarder who is going to carry your material to the distributor's warehouse. It all is integrated. You can send ASN, EDIs. Does any of your customers use EDI for transmissions?
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Okay, so we have that capability. If you see on the top of the screen, there are like those buttons to send advanced shipping notifications. You can send EDIs. You can simulate what's going to be your landed cost, including the freight. So all that is integrated in the system. And if you want like a thorough capability, so you create an order, you created a delivery, now you want to issue that item. Okay, now I'm going to ship it right now. So it's still in my warehouse. I can cancel the delivery if there is some important customer that has come up and you want to divert your inventory to that customer. So that way you can just stop the delivery. I mean, these are like different scenarios with different customers. Maybe it might be true for you, might not be true for you. And if you capture all your freight details, if you want to do maybe if I ship it by Atlas Van Lines versus New England, it's cheaper to send it through that freight forwarder, but then that freight forwarder does not have has drivers to take my material, and you want an alternate driver, but it's going to cost you more. So you can run your profitability reports also out of the system.
All right.
And here is an example of the AR invoice. So you can have, and the beauty of the system is that once you create a sales order, you don't have to re-enter all the data. You just click on the convert button. It's actually going to convert the order and copy the data from sales order to the invoice or the delivery or the item issue and so on. So you just have to, your people, and even that one, if it's a repeat order, you can just click on a copy button and it copies a previous order, and then you can make the changes to the quantity or the delivery date, and there you go. So it's a matter of like a few seconds to create a new order in the system.
All right.
And now if you see here, this is all linked with the financials. So you create your invoice, you want to define that you want to do your financial reporting by a certain method. It can take care of your excise tax. You see that excise receivables, the excise amount of everything is in the system. And you can run your reports on excise tax, sales tax, different taxation. We have a very sophisticated logic of defining taxes. If certain counties in certain states apply a particular tax, you can have those tax codes being by those specific customers. And then anytime you create an order for those customers, those taxes will be applied on those.
Okay.
And this is about the receipt payment. You have multiple methods of receiving payment from the customers. If you want to define cost center accounting, which is another level of complexity of accounting, if your finance professionals want to more so. But I mean, again, I'm showing you the entire system, but it's all on what you pick and choose. So sometimes people get overwhelmed that, okay, oh, this is too complex for me. So we can just deploy a simple solution to you, and as your business grows, we can add that next level of complexity to the system.
All right.
And this is, again, you want to have multiple banks, how you want. So this is a payment which you have received from Andrew's distribution company. So you can receive it in a particular bank. So you might say that West Coast payment I receive in one particular bank and East Coast on another bank, or whatever is your method. But the system is a highly configurable system. So it's not hard-coded that, oh, we don't say that, hey, Alex, you have to do the business this way because the software runs this way. That's not true. In our case, you tell us what's your business process. We can give you some recommendations. To take it or leave it is your choice, but we can configure the system the way you want it.
Okay.
And then this is about the recipe management. So this is the production module. You can save all your recipes in the system. So there's one type of beer, and it gives you all the recipe, what all ingredients are being used in that. So you define your bill of material, you define what processes. So this, as you can see on your screen, it goes through mashing, boiling, fermentation, and what's your scrap. If you see the last column, it says scrap percentage. So this tells you the scrap percentage, and the system can, if you can do two things on a process parallelly, like while bottling, if you're also labeling, you're putting your label on the bottle and you're just putting the cap on the filling in, so it can, so that's the parallel process in this. So you know that, like, to produce this many bottles, I need this much production time. So the system can tell you what's the production time.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty cool feature.
Yeah. And this is an example of the production order. So what you saw on the data before, which is the master data, is being used here. If you see, it says routing and the bill of material. So if you combine these, that's the recipe. And this is your delete. System has the capability of doing backward scheduling. So if you have to deliver to a particular customer and you want to provide him 5,000 gallons, what is the earliest start or the latest start that you need to start your production order?
Does the system calculate that, or?
Yeah, the system can calculate that. Now we put all the data in the system. It can give you. It can also give you conflicts. If you have already scheduled the order and your brewery is already busy at that time, it might tell you that you cannot schedule this order because there's a conflict.
Okay, so you can even set up the different capacities.
Yes. And then if it's like, if you have a capacity constraint on a particular day, you might actually schedule a day before or a day after, and you can see that the availability of your machines are. If you're totally sold out on your capacity, then you have to pick and choose and tell the system that, okay, this customer is a bigger priority because he buys a lot of stuff from me versus the other customer.
Okay.
And then if your order volume increases, because you can only do so much with Excel files, so here's an automated program called MRP Wizard, which is Requirement Planning Wizard. So in your case, if you have like too many orders, you're not able to cope up with your Excel files. Okay, I have 20 orders from this customer, 15 from this customer for the same beer type. So the system can take cumulative, it will add up all the demand, and it can plan out all your orders with using the MRP. MRP stands for Material Requirement Planning.
Yep.
And you can see here the system is showing a negative availability, so it has to create planned orders in the system, and it saw that you already have a receipt of 500 coming in. If you see this part, this is like 500 is already coming in, so netting quantity, so it nets the quantity and comes up with this much additional demand, and then it creates a planned order for that much demand.
That's great. When does it know to schedule it? What for timing?
Yeah, it takes it from the production order and sales order quantities. So the demand is being planned based on what is, when you created your sales order, there's a field called delivery date, requested delivery date. The customer has requested on so and so date, so it actually does accumulation of the demand that, okay, these many orders I have to deliver on this date. So, so when you run the wizard, that time it takes your start date and end date. So you'll have to populate these dates here from, if you just want to run it for just next week. But in this case, if I don't populate the date, then it's going to take all the sales order and plan my total demand. But if I can restrict it by dates, okay, don't plan the whole month, just plan it for this coming week.
Okay.
And the order that MRP created, that's called a planned order. Now that's not a firm order. So the system is providing you a sort of a recommendation. Now, if you want to convert it into a production order and tell, okay, yes, Go machines created. So here's where you convert it into a production order.
Okay. And would it let you know there if you were going to do something that would bring you out of capacity or something like that?
Yes. So we also have a production scheduling, which does the capacity planning. And so this is requirement planning. So it's creating the requirement plan, and then you're going to subject this requirement plan to a capacity planning as the next step.
All right.
And then you issue, if you have that capacity available, then you'll be issuing the item to the production for the production order, and you'll be issuing raw material for making like hops and malt and yeast and everything. You'll be issuing that material. So this is the item issuing as a production order. When you do that, your raw material is getting consumed and your work in process is going to increase. So here's the general entry in the finance side that's getting created. So at any moment, if you're running your balance sheet, if you have auditors come to you or your CPA runs that, okay, you purchased that many hops, where are those hops? So he can see that, okay, now they are in work in process, so that's where the hops got consumed. So
right.
financial reporting is happening parallelly while you're executing the production transactions. So this is, once the production is completed, then you receive that production. So now this many gallons of beer has been created. So Alfie IPA beer is being created. Now I'm receiving it in my inventory. So next time a sales order comes in, I'm ready to do an availability check on my, that can I supply it? So I have the availability check and I can look at the inventory.
All right.
So when you receive in the inventory, again, this is another financial transaction which takes place, which is now you see that the inventory finished good is being, like you're receiving it against the finished good, and your work in process is going to get reduced. So your financials are going to be speaking as you process in your supply chain.
Okay.
And this is the procurement part. So this is the list of all the materials you're procuring from the vendor. And you can see all the posting dates. When you receive the order will automatically get closed. And if you requisition, the second order, if you see here, that's a requisitioned order. So you might cancel, okay, I have a dropped order for that particular product, so I'm going to cancel the purchase order for this. So you can cancel those orders and set it as inactive.
All right.
And if you're looking for new suppliers, this is the feature, purchase quotation, and then a purchase quotation. And if you like the new supplier, then you can issue him a purchase order based on that quotation, the price he quoted you.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes the item receipt against the raw material. So you receive that item against the raw material. The system will tell you how much you received, and if the purchase order is still open, you have additional quantity to receive. So you can also see the journal entry being created when you once you receive the material. So again, the finance
So
book. Go ahead.
how does the receipt process usually work? Is it someone at a terminal, or do you have scanners of some kind that people typically use?
Where both the ways, you can even receive it through the iPad. You're like
Okay.
walking with an iPad on the floor and receiving
Mm-hmm.
it. To that way, you have also have the scanner barcode scanners in the system. So each of these orders is going to generate a barcode, and I'll show you. You see this barcode?
Mm-hmm.
You see the
Yep.
AP invoice? So you
Yep.
just scan the AP invoice, and then you're receiving against this invoice.
Oh, wow,
The
that's
system
pretty
will
cool.
start receiving the material. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it tries to totally eliminate the human intervention there.
Yep.
And then again, as you keep receiving, the financial transactions get updated. So as soon as your person on the warehouse receives the product, it directly has an impact on your financials. You can see that the raw material is being coming in, and this is the general entry. It immediately gets passed over, and you're like all the time at the real time of your finances, how the system is working.
Wow, that'd be great.
Yep. And that's why, like, I mean, when people say, hey, we are working with like VIP or like XYZ or like so and so, so we tell them like, even we can't articulate our system in like such a short 2 minutes that you come to our booth, and we cannot articulate what we have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is pay invoice functionality. If you have to pay your supplier after you've received the material, you can pay him, and then all that again gets reflected in the finances. And then we can define your chart of account the way you want it, how you want to do your financial reporting, how granular you want to go, how many uh, GLs you want to define, so you can get as much visibility. And a system also creates all these journal entries. You can view them, what was the
Mm-hmm.
transaction. It has like full visibility to your. It also gives you a visibility if your financial books are not tallying, then it tells you, hey, you have like this many entries which are not tallying. So you have to work on it to in order for the system to automatically balance out your balance sheet and tally your profit and loss or income statement.
Okay.
And then it creates your balance sheet. You can export it to Excel, PDF, whatever format, and you can even drill down into this, and you can see uh, what it's constituted of. So if you click on the number, you can drill down into the individual transactions that constitute the number. The same way for the profit and loss or income statement. And this is the trial balance. Yeah, so so this was all about the brew, and then the system also provides you being logged out of the system.
Mm-hmm.
So the system actually provides you with a reporting engine. You can create whatever sort of reports. So for smarter decision making to compete against your competitors who are in the same business, and you can draw smart analytic reports out of the system, which you don't have to know programming. It's more of a drag and drop sort of a feature in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can create your reports. But the system also comes with ready reports, so you can just say inventory status, inventory audit, inventory by warehouse. So I mean, there are like tons of these reports. If you want to do traceability, we also have the ability, because you're part of the FDA regulated industry, and if some audit comes and someone falls sick, there is some complaint or something, we have to do traceability. We have the ability to have the batch number, so you can trace back that the problem was with the hops or the beer was contaminated, was over fermented, or why people fell sick, or so you have that full ability to trace back.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, I can keep going on, and the system also has dashboards, and I don't know if you have configured the dashboards, but it can quickly give you a snapshot how your business is doing. I'm actually in a hotel room right now. It does the inventory transactions, inventory revelation. Like, so I'm going to show you on another system what these dashboards look like. I'm just going to give you, how many employees do you have, Alex?
So altogether, we've about 1,000 employees, but most of them are, or a good chunk of them are Salesforce or involved in our restaurants. So I mean, probably 300 to 400 office or production employees.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to see if I can. But I mean, we have also got a full-blown human resource which is integrated again with finance. You want to track your employees, you want to define their performance criteria, you want to run their payroll, you want to run their benefits. I don't know if you offer what sort of benefits since you're 1,000 employees, and you also have a piece of it which is for the affordable care that you have to offer them benefits. So benefits,
Wow.
administration, everything is in the system. That's why I said like it's like a one-stop shop. If you're continuously hiring, you want like people who can do certain specialized jobs. You have like job requisitions. It can directly link up to your website. So I'm just going to show you a company who uses our software, but not from your industry. So their job portal, they have like 10,000 employees, and you see this career section. You post your job requisitions, and they can come to your website and directly post for your jobs. You can hire them. So if you see this address bar here, so it's actually their website, but when someone clicks on the career section, you see it goes to business pointers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're posting your jobs, and these guys actually provide security at the airports like LAX or LaGuardia or JFK or the DC and so on. And the jobs immediately get posted, and if you have a brewer that you want to hire a brewer, so you'll create brewer's profile, and you can, so they can apply, and you can just screen them. So once I apply for this job, I will have an automatic screening questions, and it's a very big software, Alex. So I mean, I don't want to overwhelm you, but I mean, I'm just trying to tell you that I mean, we can do what you want us
Yeah,
to do.
it really seems like you've got a one-stop shop. You've got everything incorporated.
Yeah, because I mean, if you use CRM system, you go to Salesforce.com, you pay them $250 per user per month, and then once order is created or once a customer likes your product, then you have to again re-enter the whole data in another system, and then like so. What we offer, are you aware of SAP?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so we offer that sort of capability, but not at the
It
price
seems
that
like
SAP
it.
does. Yeah,
Right.
it's nowhere close to the price that those guys ask.
Can you tell me a bit about your company's history and everything? Like, was it always a standalone company, or is it bought up a bunch of smaller companies, or?
Now, we are totally vertically integrated company, and we are like a venture funded and privately funded company.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
we're not a hodgepodge solution. So like how Microsoft acquired certain companies, created a hodgepodge solution, and it has got tons of problem. We're actually all on a single database. If I were to show you, you can just draw the entire the entire software single database.
Okay.
So
Well, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, if I go in here, you'll see that you can see all the system tables in the single instance, and you can just go ahead and like query between two tables, and you want to see that which brewer did which brewing and how much I paid him. So you can relate the payroll reports, and then you can relate. So these are some examples of the reports that you can just create it in the system. So you don't have to buy a BI system like Cognos or Hyperion or whatever, like MicroStrategy, or like, so you don't have to pay for any other system when you have the system. So here is like finance, HR, CRM, order management, production, payroll, everything in the single system. Inventory. If I want to draw a report on inventory, I can just drag and drop, and just it starts building my report. So you don't have to write the SQL query. You see at the bottom, it's automatically writing the SQL query for you.
Wow.
Whatever like values I want to like get, I want to see this table, item property name, item code. I can just do this, and then I can create my ad hoc report. I just execute the query. It generates my ad hoc report.
Wow, that's great.
Yep.
Almost like Tableau.
Yeah. So we're just, so you're like pretty much aware of that where the market is, because Tableau is the hot cake. But again, if you don't want to spend on a tool like Tableau,
yeah,
we're here to serve the purpose.
So what is the pricing on your solution? How does that work? I imagine it's probably at least in part driven by seat licenses and part driven by, you know, regular contract and everything.
So some of our customers take on-premise, and some of our customers want cloud. So we have both the offerings. And if you're comfortable with cloud, it can be, I can work out those pricings with you. And if you want to go via on-premise, you want your own server, everything, we can, like, that's seat license based, but this is more of a subscription based, that you just get your own custom website, the way I showed you the command security website. So they get a domain in front of it, so you'll get your domain, and that's where most of the market is moving. So you see that this is like CSC jobs here. So it puts Sierra Nevada, and then you get get your own like cloud-based instance. Now in that also we have two offerings, which is like one a private cloud and one. So you can basically focus on your core business rather than hiring 20 IT staff to run your SAP or Tableau or Cognos or like whatever system. So you can just focus on your core business and not. So that's where cloud comes really handy.
Right. Well, yeah, I think it's a definitely an interesting product. Can you speak a bit to what are some of the brewery-specific features that were added in? I mean, I know that a lot of the products you showed the demo, had brewing things in it, like brewing ingredients and things like that. But just in terms of, what are some of the ways that the brewing piece is differentiated from some of the, other verticals that you work with?
Yeah. So from here, like we have the yields, capacities, and these are like very specific to process industry. So that's where, like, I mean, the brewing industry vertical solution is slightly different. So as you can see here, so what we do is that we have certain pieces which come from our generic application, and certain pieces of the application which comes from the brewing industry. So we have like the process yields and the machine centers and the recipe management, and all these are like very specific to brewing that we do, compared to discrete manufacturing, which has like more of routings and other stuff in it.
Okay.
And then we have FDA compliance check. We have quality certification, which is for the brewing industry that we have in the system. So the FDA traceability and all that stuff, which is more geared towards the brewing industry.
Got it. All right.
So the production has the quality module in it. I mean, just as I said, like, I mean, it's difficult for me to go over entire thing. So you might have like beer testing cases, so you can go in the quality control and like you can define your test cases here. You can define the criteria for your test cases. So whatever, like the brewing inspection, so every company does, but there are certain FDA compliant stuff that you have to ensure. And then there is shelf life related stuff. So those are certain criteria also which are captured, and you can trace back which was this production batch, what was the testing results for that production batch when you received it from production. So you can capture that, all of that from an audit standpoint.
All right.
Yeah.
So that sounds pretty interesting. Can you tell us a little about some of your customers that you have in the brewing space, like how big they are or anything like that? I mean, you don't need specific names, but just kind of curious, your typical clientele.
So yeah, I mean, most of those clients are ranging from like even like from a 15 employee to a 600 employee workspace. So they are mostly microbreweries. I mean, definitely. I mean, I have personally worked for Miller and Coors and Anheuser-Busch. They have SAP. So I've like worked on SAP projects with them. So I bring that expertise with me. But as far as the customer goes, these customers who are using our solution are more not of the SAP size customers. They're more of ranging from anywhere from very small breweries like 15 employee breweries to a 600 employee breweries.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's a good perspective to have.
Yeah.
So those are kind of all my questions for now, and I appreciate you walking me through your software. In terms of our process right now, we have a lot of things in the works with our current systems. We're trying to improve some things. We run Microsoft GP, and we have a lot of different integrations into it, and a lot of it just doesn't work all that well because we more or less over-customized a lot of things, I'd say. Kind of nature of the problem. So now we have to clean up a lot of the business processes, and then once we do that, we're looking at a better system that is more integrated and houses all those things. And so your system definitely shows that capability in terms of the integration, and it's great to have the industry focus as well. The only things I'd want to learn a little bit more about were just making sure that the system works as well as it looks like it does. So, some of your existing customers, and then also the pricing. Those are the two things I want to learn a little more about.
Is like, I mean, if you're like closer to decision making, we can actually do a SRS for you, system requirement study, and then we can probably come up with a standalone system, which might be like sort of a proof of concept or a POC for you. And then you can play with it. You can give us those like sort of an 80% scenarios, which are your pain point today. And then we can configure that system, and then so you can tell me, okay, Ashish, I want these are my 5 beer products that I want you to like do this, and these are my key challenges. So you explain me how these challenges will be addressed in your system. So we can create an instance. I can give you a remote access, and you can just jump in the system if you want to. But as I said, like the system definitely will be a little overwhelming. So we have to do hand-holding in the beginning. Once you get comfortable with the system, then that's the time that you can just start owning the system. So it definitely needs training, as I mean, because I work in the system. I can tell you that. Where is the quality certificate? How do I look up quality certificate and so on? But for you, it would be hand-holding.
Right.
So Alex, like what sort of a time frame are you looking for this activity?
Yeah, so we don't really have a very set time frame at this point. We're just sort of evaluating what options are out there and trying to see what direction we might want to move. We're taking some steps internally to improve a number of our processes, so that will hopefully set us up. But I would think definitely not in 2016 time frame, but maybe into 2017, 2018 kind of time frame to start looking seriously.
So you
I just wanted
might,
to.
is it a possibility that you might actually start with like, because there are two type of customers, like one who follow a big bang approach and then another set of customer who go a phased-wise approach. So maybe if you have certain pain points, you might just go live with one module and then start building on that module. And so if there's one core pain point area, we can probably help you out with. So what would be a good time then I can follow up with you? Like, as in,
Sure. Do you want to give me a call again next month, maybe?
Sure, I can do that.
Alrighty.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for your time, Alex.
Yeah,
and I hope you like the solution. If there's anything else I can answer for you, or you can shoot me an email. You already have my email ID.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time. Bye. You have a good day.
No problem. You too. Bye.